Lucidity made me feel like I have a real purpose on CGR Undertow. To play lame games so you don't have to. Lucidity is a puzzle platformer developed by LucasArts and released in 2009 on the Xbox Live Arcade and Steam. It's a mainstream game that looks and plays like an indie title, which could be one of the reasons why this game never made an audience. Lucidity is cute and sweet, don't get me wrong, but I feel like the game's high concept could have been developed better. In gameplay, you don't control Sofi, the main character. Rather, you place items into the environment as Sofi makes her way from left to right. These pieces come randomly just like in Tetris, and you can hold a piece, just like in Tetris, all in the name of getting Sofi safely to the end of each level. Pieces come randomly and vary from slingshots that launch her into the air to simple platforms that keep her from falling into spikes. You can also chain these items by placing them in the correct spot to reach out-of-the-way places. Obviously, there are enemies in the level that detract from Sofi's health, or there are spike pits which will just instantly kill her. After death, instead of sending you back to the beginning of the incredibly short levels, the game pops you back to a midpoint, which is sometimes 10 seconds away from the goal. Each level clocks in at around 2 minutes if you do it properly the first time through, and that really leaves me wanting. Replay value is drawn only from gathering all the fireflies, which will unlock more levels. I do get and respect that each level plays out differently each time due to the randomness of the pieces you have to utilize, but it's just not enough. The story attempts to be deep, but falls a little flat. It's transparent as cellophane, so I won't even get into it for fear of instant spoilers, just in case you decide to pick this up. Maybe I'm less lenient because this is a LucasArts title. I expect more from an established studio, whereas if this had come out of some college student's basement, I might have relaxed my standards a bit. In general, the game is a yawn. It's far too forgiving and not varied enough in design for me to really enjoy it. I like the concept, and once I started chaining items, it did feel a little more dynamic, but that was strictly dependent on getting decent pieces. Sometimes Sofi ran into a wall too tall to climb over, and I didn't have the correct items to vault her into the air and continue moving forward. It was then that I wanted repercussions to standing in that place while I tossed pieces out into the level, trying to find one that would assist me in moving forward. This game wasn't geared toward hardcore gamers. It feels like a big-name developer taking a stab at the indie market and seeing who they could hook. I would recommend this game to my mom for the same reason I would recommend this to a child under 6, because it's simple and lacks frustration. As a matter of fact, this game completely lacks emotion. Even though it panders to an audience much in the way that The Notebook panders to screaming masses of weepy women, there just isn't any emotion in it. I don't care if Sofi dies, I don't care what the deal is with her nana. They just assume that since it's a story about a child dealing with loss that I will get all misty-eyed, and in that respect, LucasArts is very wrong. You can beat Lucidity in one sitting, but you'd be hard-pressed to find it interesting enough to persist until the end. This title should have the tagline of, "Not enough," because that's what I took away from playing this. Not enough levels, not enough variety, not enough emotion, not enough fun. Lucidity just isn't worth it. Instead of wasting time and money on this title, I'd suggest picking up another indie game that tickles your fancy that hasn't come from a big-name dev.